How y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel, Manifesting Greatness Now. So I got a great video for you guys. Okay, we're gonna actually hop right into this, and we're gonna be discussing staying consistent involving the inner work. Why are we discussing this? Why is this something that I've discussed multiple times recently as of late? Because it's one of the biggest things that people are struggling with. You guys, a lot of you guys are not staying consistent with doing this inner work, and the problem with not staying consistent is you may run the risk of getting yourself into a position of experiencing something that you want, whether it's involving health, money, etc., and losing it, or experiencing it in a half-assed way, or experiencing something that you would define as being negative involving it because you're not staying consistent. You haven't actually shifted yourself. Okay, now I was on a live just moments ago on TikTok, and someone asked me, what is the difference between affirming something to just get it versus affirming to remind yourself that you are it, etc. Here's the difference. We're going to just talk about the left side of it. Why should you not just affirm just to get something? Because the problem with that is there's no work that's going to be done on actually shifting your core foundational quote-unquote limiting beliefs, self-identities, etc., etc. So you're just manifesting it just to get it, and then that's it. Like, you're literally manifesting this thing, you receive it, and then that's it. You move on to the next thing. The problem with that is because there's no work being done on yourself, because there's no work being done on actually raising the bar, so to speak, improving yourself, developing yourself, changing your core, like I said, limiting beliefs, self-identities, stories, etc. Because there's no work being done involving that, aka because you're not staying consistent involving that aspect of things, you're going to experience what you want, but it may happen in a lackluster way, and may happen in a way to where it's not exactly desirable, beneficial, or if you do experience it in a lighthearted way, it may not last, because you're still going to end up getting triggered, you're still going to react, because there's no discipline present, there's no mindfulness present, because you haven't been being consistent with the inner work. Do you understand? Can you put two and two together now? Do you get it? I'm doing my best to make it make sense. Do the inner work. It is not that difficult to stay consistent involving something that you'd like to experience. Sorry, a car is going by. At all. You're not going to, and I'm not saying this to sound any type of way, I'm really not attempting to sound any type of way, but you're not going to manifest in the greatest way possible if you're manifesting constantly through the lens of fear, urgency, doubt, etc., which is most likely what you're going to do because you haven't been being consistent with actually changing yourself, with changing your self-identity, changing your core foundational limiting beliefs, your stories, your programmings, etc. It is not that difficult to do the inner work either. Okay, all you need is just a couple of days of staying consistent, maybe a week or two, and then it will become secondhand nature most likely. You'll get more used to it. It will be more on autopilot the first couple of weeks to the first couple of days, depending on your level of quote-unquote resistance and what's going on. For most people, when they're actively staying consistent with the inner work, they start experiencing results, for most people, after a couple of days. After a couple of days. For other people, after a couple of weeks. And you can't be taking days off. Can't be taking days off. That one day that you took off because you were too tired, you were too drained, you just needed a break, that one day you took off could have set your shit back I don't know how far. And I'm not saying that from the standpoint of it delaying you. Don't get it twisted. When I say take it back I don't know how far, I mean it from the perspective of that one day you took off, you could have been dwelling on a whole array of negative feelings, negative thoughts subconsciously that you weren't even aware of, and consciously. You don't want to run that risk. Stay consistent. Do the work daily. It is not that difficult, especially if it's involving something that you deeply desire to experience. You're going to sit there and tell me it's difficult to engage with something that you quote-unquote deeply desire to experience, but then you run off and you're like, oh, Joe, I was too tired to do this. I was too tired to do that. I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. I'm giving up, blah, blah, blah. Didn't you just say that you deeply desire it? You don't give up on the things that you deeply desire. The things that you deeply desire, you want to explore. You want to involve yourself with. You want to be a part of. It doesn't matter how much resistance you may have. It doesn't matter how fucking tired you are, how drained you feel, etc. You're going to make that shit happen. You're going to do what's necessary. And this whole notion of, I forgot to do this and that. Let me tell you something. If you're going to sit there and tell someone or anybody that you forgot to do something involving this inner work, it's one of two things. Either the thing you're manifesting isn't something that you deeply desire to experience wholeheartedly in your fucking soul, etc. Or the second option is it's not a priority for you. It's not a priority for you to manifest at this point in your life. And that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's one of those two things. There is no other reasoning as to why you're forgetting to do the inner work. There's no other reasoning as to why you're forgetting to do what needs to be done. It's one of those two reasons. Stay consistent. Do what's necessary. I don't give a how tired you are, how out of control you feel, how impossible it may seem. Do what needs to be done. Make the decision. Decide. Stick to it. You heard? Much love and peace. Now I'm rooting for y'all. Feel free to check the first pinned comment down below if you'd like to work together. If you'd like to follow me on other social media platforms. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care. Stay safe. Final reminder. Stay consistent.